Welcome. This is G. You're watching Allastrology. Scorpio. This is for you. We're going to talk about your December 2022. And we have an ending and two new beginnings coming up for you. So let's dive right in. Right at the beginning of the month in December, the first week around December 7th, right? Give or take a day or two beforehand, only because for some of you with your charts and your levels of sensitivities, you may feel things sooner. And if you're someone who has something at these particular points and degrees, by the way, go down below. I'll have all the details there, right? Dates and degrees and the signs and all that. If you have other things that are around those things, the matching degrees, that also could trigger things to be felt sooner and possibly longer. So this is why I say a couple degrees or a couple days afterwards as well. So we start off Scorpio. We are looking at your new moon. I'm sorry, full moon, your ending, your full moon, a closure, a completion of some sort. And this completion is happening in the sign of Gemini. So this is fascinating because Mars is in Gemini. Mars is in Gemini, right? And having Mars in Gemini energy, it has been talking about choices and options, the way I think, conversations, the way my mind operates, really, right? Things that you think about, and then the conversations that you have with the things that you think about, like the way you share information. So yes, social media, the mail, the news, your phone, really, right? How you're sharing, texting, emails, like all that stuff, even your regular snail mail. It's how you exchange information. All right. So the way it comes in and then the way you process it and then put it right back out there. So this is in your, let me look, double check. I want to say your 8th house. Yes, your 8th house. So what does this mean? This is your wounds, deep emotions and wounds. This is wonderful because this means that what you have been doing since August of 2022, you have been learning how to process wounds from the past, hurts that you've had, right? And these would be with people you're deeply bonded to, right? So this is what we would call like soul history, soul memory. Some would say past lives or alternative lives. Either way, there's residual energy within you, like a feeling, an emotion, but it's intense, it's powerful, and you feel it in a very deep way, so deep that at times, depending upon what goes on in your life, like you have a conversation with somebody, something happens, something gets triggered, and you have a very almost overwhelming, intense feeling overcome you. And you might be confused, right? You might be like, okay, this is powerful. I'm angry even at times, or there might be a great, unbelievable fear involved. But you could be mixed up as far as what the wound is from. So what happens is we put the blame on others, right? We automatically, this happened. Oh, well, you said this and you said that. Not recognizing the reason our reaction, typically it's a reaction, right? We want to get to a mode where we are learning to respond and not react. There's a difference, right? So once we get to that place, or I should say until we get to that place, we sometimes are reacting to something that it was just a trigger that kind of like opened the spigot and then all this stuff came out. But all the stuff that came out that was super deep, strong, and powerful had nothing to do with the actual moment. That moment just provided, the prime opportunity for it to come up again and for you to acknowledge and recognize that it's there and for you to do the homework and to dig and to learn how to deal with it. And that's me getting back to the point of this full moon. It's a release and it's an ending. It's a closure. It's a completion. So for you, Scorpio, being in that 8th house, it's learning how to not only think and to like really look at, but to figure out different modalities of healing, but learning those modalities of healing. And part of it is processing it here mentally, maybe even writing and journaling about it, possibly vlogging or blogging about it, right? You would do exceptional here, having conversations with people about shit that matters, things that are really deep, things that are powerful. We're not talking about the weather. We're not bitching about, so-and-so said this, can you believe that? And trying to create, I don't want to say, division, right? More division, but it's really more about getting with those who understand you because they've been where you've been. It's like the deep, it's the understood area of your life. So there's that emotional bond. But this is a beautiful thing because it provides a healing energy. It represents a completion. So, yay for you, Scorpio, a completion in your deeply bonded emotions. They could be wounds from the past, and it could be those relationships where you're like, I've explored my options and I realize I maybe have to cut ties, completions, endings, right? I might have to cut ties with people, certain individuals, or maybe not so dramatic, but more of, okay, that served its purpose, right? We just kind of went our own ways. It wasn't like a knockdown, drag out fight because we learned how to talk, Gemini. We learned how to talk and to communicate about these hurtful things, these painful experiences. So let's pull your card. Okay, let's pull your card. They are telling me to give it one more shuffle because I've, of course, shuffled multiple times and like I always do. So they're telling me to shuffle it, give it a nice one of those, and then they're saying to do one of these for you. And then yep, that's the one they said as soon as you feel it. And that one was really sticking hard. So we're going to grab this one for you and let's give you this visual. Here we go. This is for your beginning of December, a completion and a closure. So this king is very confident now. That's what this represents, confidence. Ruling with an even hand, fairness, but you're in charge of something. You're in charge of your emotions now. You know what this means, right? This means your emotions, when you recognize those hurts and those wounds and you learned how to deal with them, you learned new skills basically since August. Now, I'm not saying you're completing that journey all the way as far as you're not learning more, but there is something, maybe you did some therapy and then maybe it wasn't like, intensive therapy, like with an actual professional. Maybe it was just simply you started mingling with a group, could be online, just something that has to do with relating with others. And so schoolmates, classmates, right? Neighbors, coworkers. It can be as simple as that. Someone that's part of your world, your everyday world and your routines. Okay. Because it's Gemini energy. And that is our peer energy. Somebody who you could even be someone you go to church with, or whether it's a class you're attending, just something that you do where other people are around. Yeah, Gemini is also like the postal people, postal workers. So it could even be just the people, the regular routine service people in your neighborhood. This could represent that. But somebody somewhere in that pool of people has something in common with you. And there's something now where being able to talk and communicate, you've learned new skills. Okay. And so these new skills make you the king of your deep emotions. When we aren't recognizing those emotions, when we don't know where they come from, and then, we blow up, some people go out and dig holes. Some people throw shit. Some people curse each other people out. Some people say horrible things. Some people do horrible things. Some people go and drink, right? Everybody deals with their stuff in a different way. The emotions basically control them and they don't know what else to do. They have to, it happened. They did it, whatever it was, whether they said something or something occurred. So there's kind of like that escape thing that happens sometimes, or we go work out, right? Because that's how we're dealing with the aftermath of the disaster in a way. Not that those, not that the healthy things aren't good. Of course, working out and going for a walk or, just stepping back, out of the hot situation, whatever it might be. But having the king means there's confidence and there's control and there's an even hand. The king has diplomacy. Yeah, it's the ruler. See the sun behind the king? This means that there's a light being shown on you for your ability to control your emotions. And I'm saying emotions because we're tying it into this full moon and in your 8th house, right? So this is other lifetimes, but past people from your past, they don't have to be like, they can be like, I'm hearing inheritances. So it could be like blood relatives because, this is the house of blood bonds. But it's also people who you've met, who you've made as your family now. Yeah, that you've made as your family. So remember, this is a closure and a completion. Having the king here about your deep emotions and your wounds, you're controlling something, all right? But it's you being confident. It's you shining in the light. It's you being fair and equal. You see what the king is holding, the tools, right? It's got his, I forget what that's called. Well, anyway, the one is like the sign of the cross. So it's kind of like a religious thing. But then the other one points out to his stately duties, like political duties type of thing. So it's in a fair and balanced way. It's considering everything and everybody involved. Remember, Leo has to do with children and romance, joy, and creativity. So a creative way of dealing with your wounds and your emotions. And Leo is also athletic. I will add to that because it's having fun with the body. And these endeavors are healthy ways to deal with that which we sometimes allow to control us because we don't know what else to do with it, or we're confused by it and we don't know where the pain comes from. And so we kind of just cover it up with things. We're ashamed. So this is saying you're getting it under control. So this is awesome. Okay, let's get that into the deck and let's talk about your next thing. We got 2 new beginnings coming for you, Scorpio. So I'm really happy to talk to you about this. 2 new beginnings, they're always a good thing. Now, this next thing, it's going to happen right around the same time, okay? It has a lot to do with the planet Jupiter, all right? Jupiter, for the last couple of months, for October and November, Jupiter was in Pisces energy. So being in Pisces energy, Jupiter was, Jupiter, let me put it to you like this. Prior to October, Jupiter was in more of like a fight mode because it was in Aries. It was in fight mode, right? Now, when it went into Pisces, it kind of chilled a little bit. It became more about being relaxed and more escape, more mellow. Let's watch movies. Let's talk about unity and harmony, right? But then it goes back into Aries energy, or I should say it goes forward again into Aries energy. So when it goes forward into Aries energy, Aries is the military. It is the police. It's Mars. It's somebody who walks around with a weapon. Or is very physical. I mean, it can have a weapon, doesn't always have to have a weapon, but Mars was born for war. I'm going to be real with you. So let's find out, where does this happen in your life? Because when Jupiter goes there, it will increase Aryan ways. Mars and Aries, right? Yeah, Mars rules Aries. So by increasing Aryan ways, we may be more impatient. We may be more like, let's just do and not think, right? It's the leaping before looking. It's the walking before, before processing, or the talking before processing. Going into Aries, it's very physical. It's about the body. It's totally about the body. Can absolutely be about the head, especially sensitivities to the skull and to the head. For me, it functions as like migraines, unfortunately. Doesn't have to be that way for you, because I'm going to find out right now, according to my book, where this happens in your life. But just remember, Aries is very physical, and it is the child of the Zodiac. It's childlike because it's very young. It's the first sign. So it tends to be, yeah, it can be a little naive in certain ways. But it can also be all about itself. Think about a small child. What does it do? Eats and sleeps, right? And whose job is it to feed it? Whose job is it to clean it? Whose job is it to do everything for it? Not the baby, not the child of the Zodiac. No, the parents do everything for the child. So this is an area in your chart, like all the rest of us, where we are all growing up. It's just what it is. So for you, this happens in your 6th house. This is your health. This is your daily routines. Now, here's the thing about Jupiter in the 6th house for folks. When Jupiter goes into our 6th house, it's connected to food, it's connected to hygiene, it's connected to, our health in general, but it's about the daily routines. Okay. So things are going to start speeding up for you. If things slowed down, especially if you work for yourself, because Arian in the 6 is I'm working, but it's a very, Aries energy in general is a very independent energy. It wants freedom, but it wants to be first at something, right? And so if there's going to be people around it, it doesn't want to be in the middle of that pack. It wants to be leading the pack, right? It wants to be the top dog. It wants to be out front. That's why we associate Aries, Mars being the ruler of Aries, with the Marines, the first ones that are sent in, right? Racehorse, the first one out of the gate. So with Jupiter going back there, this means you could increase, just like all of us, when it comes to your daily routines and yet your job, whatever that is, slow down. Because if Jupiter goes there, remember Aries is in a race because it wants to be first. Jupiter is going to increase that because Jupiter increases whatever it touches, it just adds to it. So Aries meaning add to our childish ways, our egoic ways, right? Our temper, but it's going to be it can be super irritable. Now, again, you may have things in your chart that offset this and they create balance. You could, right? If you don't know and you want to know, just comment to me below. I can always take quick peeks for people. That's not a problem. If you don't have your own chart, absolutely comment to me and get an accurate chart from Allastrology. Doesn't cost you a thing. So let's pull you a card. One thing I keep hearing, and I'll just say it because I haven't said it yet, is to say weight gain. There's a possibility if doesn't mean it will be. I mean, I don't see how, but if somebody has something angling in a difficult way, it's possible. Normally when Jupiter goes into a person's sixth house, because Jupiter expands its weight and your body, Aries, Mars, is in your sixth house, your physical body and your appearance, Jupiter goes there, right? That's just what Jupiter does. Don't beat yourself up. Just keep yourself busy. Just pay attention to your normal routines and just make healthy choices because this isn't going to last forever. It's the beauty of astrology. Nothing lasts forever. We can see the beginning, the middle, the end of a cycle, and that's where we're like, hallelujah, hallelujah, right? So just be aware of that and know that you have the tools because it's in a placement of Virgo, which is really smart, actually. Okay, your sixth house. Virgo connects the dots. It says, oh, I know when I eat this way, I feel like this. Or I know this doesn't work real well for me. And I heard that warning from G about possibility weight gain. And right, who wants to hear that when we're coming into the holidays, right? Right, exactly. So let's pull you the card because that was the astrology, believe it or not. Ooh, I like this card for you. Shazam. This is really, really, really beneficial. You are a lucky dog because this is all fire. This is Sagittarius and this is Leo. And we're talking about Aries, which is fire. Those are the three fire signs in the zodiac: Aries, then Leo, then Sagittarius. This is phenomenal. I love this for you. I'm very happy. I love when I have happy, positive news because the point of what does all fire mean? It means ease. It means you're going to have help. It means it's not going to be hopeless. The universe is going to be supporting you in your choices that you make. Okay. So pay attention to the voice of the silence or the voice of the stillness. Pay attention to your knowledge. Don't ignore it, but know that you see the blessings of the universe. Those are stars. You have the support. The stars are falling upon you. They're showering you with support. Now you see the vegetation on the land, right? The food. Interesting, right? Food is a big part of this card. It's an abundance card, but food is prevalent here. It actually takes precedence. Food. So it's about food choices and making what this card is giving you the answer. Healthy food choices will be your route. And that's different for everybody and everybody's body type and everybody's sensitivity. So, I'm a big believer in know yourself. That's number one. Before we go listening to anybody, know thyself. So you have support from the universe with your Aryan energy in December. Now, let's get this back into the fold and talk about the next new beginning for Scorpio. We have, let me check my little notebook here. All right, Scorpio, the next new beginning is going to be the new moon, which is in December, and it's towards the end of the month. It's really right around Christmas Day, a couple of days before. It's on the 23rd of December. This is in Capricorn energy. Now, what does that mean? I'm going to tell you. Capricorn energy is goals. Yeah, your goals, usually professional goals. And in that way, it's things that, it's funny, Capricorn energy is responsibility. Capricorn is responsibility. It's long-term goals. It is also setting yourself up for financial security, financial stability, long-term financial stability. That's what Capricorn is. It's all about time, but it's a long time. It's not some quick fix. That's not Capricorn. Capricorn is like, I'm here for the long haul. I understand that anything that is worth anything, if I want it to last, I have to put in the time, and that is Capricorn energy. So you get this for your new beginning. It's in a really powerful placement in your chart. I want to add that in here. When I'm looking at your paperwork here that I have written up, it's in your third house of your mind and your thoughts and your thinking. So it says to me that your thoughts are very much about being responsible. They're very goal orientated. It's very much about, tradition. This is how it's usually done. It's pretty darn structured, actually. So you have quite a huge benefit by having your thoughts structured in that way, because it can make you a very powerful speaker, believe it or not. I don't normally hear people say that about combining Capricorn energy with powerful speakers, but anybody I known who's had Capricorn in their third house, they have a way of structured thoughts where when they speak, people listen to them because they can speak in a way that is, because Capricorn's about the tangible and the material. Okay. So it's like, it's not abstract. Some people have a hard time with abstract words and abstract conversations or ideas, but no, you can speak in very comprehensible, tangible ways where people get it, where they get it, right? It just makes sense. So it's about setting up goals. It's about taking what steps need to be taken to achieve those goals, those responsibilities. It's even a vocation, sign of a vocation. So it's something you would do whether you got paid to do it or not, but it's long term. You find yourself doing it all the time, little by little, step by step, not in a huge way, because Capricorn is all about time. Yes, I've said that for like 5 times now or 6 times now. My whole point is there is no shortcut. Matter of fact, Capricorn energy demands that you be ethical, that there's no cheating involved. Okay. And it will reward you. Okay. Because Saturn rules Capricorn. And remember, Saturn rewards us when we stick to it, right? Stick to it. Don't give up. Just one rung on the ladder at a time. Whenever you feel discouraged, like, oh my gosh, I'm not getting anywhere, pause, take a breath, and look back at how far you've gone. And you will see that you have not done that enough for yourself, that you have made major accomplishments. Okay. So now let's get your card, because this is a big new beginning for you, right? And let me give you the degrees on this one. This is important. The degrees on this is Capricorn at 132. This is a cardinal new beginning. So we're probably going to be hearing things about the government and big companies, big corporations. It's big. It's things that have been around for a long time. It's long-standing structures within society, and many businesses play a big role in that. When we think about some of the businesses and what they do, right? We think about that. Think about banking. Think about the post office, right? Businesses that have a lot to do with our society, right? At 1 degrees near the world access point, it's a big deal. So if you have something at that degree, even 2 degrees before, 2 degrees after, this is a big deal for you. You're likely going to absolutely, without a doubt, know what this is about when the time comes. Okay. So I would love to hear back. Just give me some updates. I love the updates. It helps me to learn. It helps me to keep learning, which is important. And then I can share it with the community. And yeah, that's important too. So I'm binge shuffling. They're telling me to do this little funky shuffle one last time. Yeah, I had to wait to hear if they say that that's it, but that wasn't. They're telling me to do this, and then I'm going to split the deck on this one. Okie dokie. One last one, they said. And that's it. Let's put these all together. They're saying split the deck. I'm just going to go right there. The card that's right here on top is for you. Ready? This is your new beginning. So remember, December 23rd. This is powerful. This is something about your mind. Absolutely. This is Gemini and Piscean energy, your thoughts that you keep, the communication. Now, you see the twins, the duality, right? The ability to change my mind, the ability to see things that others don't see. Some say contrarian, but it is all about the duality and understanding the 360-degree perceptions that we have. So therefore, you can see all the different options, all the different ways that things could turn out, right? Which is really powerful. Being a new moon, it tells me you might have options for this new beginning. And because it's Capricorn, there might be options with work involved, your career, but something that has to do with your long-term financial stability and your goals for that. Right, our jobs, right? Of course. You see the universe in the background there? Almost has like a saintly, circular, rainbowish glow around the head of this goddess angelic sort of energy. Yeah, you have the support of the universe. This looks extremely beneficial, my friend. You see how she's got the finger up to her lips, and it's almost as though, are we thinking? What are our options here? This says that if you have quiet time or prayer time, meditation time, whatever you want to call it, if you can listen, you'll be guided with when it comes to the options. You're divinely guided. So below the video, I'll have all the degrees for those of you who like to pay attention to the degrees in your chart. Again, if you don't know and you want to know, just comment below.